Civil Administrative Tribunal.
Oh, hi Cameron, how you going, mate?
Very well, very well. Just seeing a few threads of emails that I think a few of us have been involved with yourself, and was just seeing if there was any need to fill in an application and to set up a suitable time to give you a call to help fill in an application.
Yes, there is. What do VCAT oversee again? Is it now? It's rent, isn't it, for one thing, and being evicted.
So generally, if there's housing issues under the Residential Tenancies Act, then
okay, let's do that one. Start there. Stop there. I'm evicted. I'm past paying rent for 5 months. I've been evicted and I'm squatting. So, Hung Ho, the landlord, is going to act to get the police to move me on soon.
Has he lodged an application here at VCAT?
No, he hasn't, but he's told me that he's just about to. Now, what I need to do is blow the whistle. I mean that by I've been categorically character assassinated, and I'm not sure that VCAT has the authority to act for me. I hope they do. Otherwise, I've already called Services Australia and I've called the DHHS and they don't provide housing. I've already called all the housing places, but basically it's a complex situation because I've been framed out of millions of dollars, and this is by agencies and statutory authorities that are way higher than you. So the complaint I'm putting in is overseen by the auspices of both the Attorney General and the Prime Minister, who have known my injustice and the detriment that has occurred to me, and they've refused to act. So, framed by the fact that you're a state-based service, how can you stop me from being on the street?
So, the Residential Tenancies Act is a piece of state legislation. So, the tribunal has jurisdiction in terms of the Residential Tenancies Act. Now, it appears that you've been served a notice to vacate.
Yes.
Potentially the notice to vacate has expired, it's unclear. But Hung Ho, as the landlord, hasn't actually...
He hasn't made an application to move me on yet with the police, right?
To enforce the notice to vacate.
Right, okay. And the police will be involved if that happens.
So you haven't actually been, evicted, but you're at threat of being evicted in the house.
Well, he's already given me my notice to vacate, and I've overstayed that notice.
That's okay. So I've explained to you in a previous email, I think, that the next step is if Hung Ho wishes to evict you, then he needs to lodge an application to VCAT to enforce that notice.
Right. Can I just say very bluntly, I've suffered millions of dollars of detriment at the hands of the government. I'm a failed whistleblower at IBAC, APRA, the Commonwealth Ombudsman, and I can't go to police, and I can't be a whistleblower, and I can't get a lawyer. Therefore, I'm in a pretty powerless position. I'm looking for someone such as an administrative tribunal, such as VCAT, to acknowledge the factual evidence that I already have in order to prove my detriment and in order to provide compensation for that detriment. So I'm asking a smaller fish like the VCAT to stand up to, say, the Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet, who doesn't think I exist. This is in stark contrast to a few months before he said that, in which my FOI was too voluminous and complex. So you see that the thing I'm up against, you know.
At the moment, the focus is on the housing situation, so that's where the tribunal has jurisdiction.
Yeah, I know that.
All the others,
I know that. Can I just
things I don't really have any.
Can I just interject? VCAT, you're telling me, has the jurisdiction to argue a point that it is unfair to evict me because I've been rendered consciously, maliciously, and intentionally a vagrant.
No.
Pardon?
Tribunal has jurisdiction to accept Hung Ho's application to evict you on the basis that you haven't
paid rent. Yep. And what if I haven't paid rent because I've got no money?
Basis, well, that's obviously, I can understand that would be a reason for you not to pay the rent, but at the same time, if you are in possession of a property or if you have a tenancy, part of that obligation is to pay a certain amount of rent each week, then the process also falls that the landlord can evict you basis that you aren't paying rent.
So, whose side are you saying you're on? Are you saying you're on the side... Wait. Are you saying you're on the side... Can you please speak? Are you saying, just kindly, I'm a kind person, I haven't done anything wrong, I'll be kind to you, I don't want to be argumentative, I'm in a heinous position of detriment and poverty. I haven't got food, medication, I have cancer, I have a mental illness, I have applied to state housing, that doesn't work, I've applied to DFFS in Footscray, they refused to offer me a house, and I have lost millions of dollars at the Australian Human Rights Commission, the AFCA, who actually planned a conscious, malicious way to rob me of money, and also I'm owed work cover. Now, this is at the AAT, not VCAT, the AAT. It is illegal for any public service official or public officer to act outside the Charter of Human Rights of a person with a disability. As a person with a disability, I would request that you act within that charter and afford me some legal help, because it's illegal for me to be overseen by a court or tribunal and not have a representation. Is that correct? Would you agree?
I can't speak for that.
Well, that is the law. And see, the funny thing is about laws is that you're saying Hung Ho will evict me. Well, fine and dandy. Well,
you have to listen more.
I'm trying. I do have a brain disorder, you know.
Yeah, I'm happy to explain the process, and I can explain it in a simple English.
Go on.
Obviously, assist, which is fine. So at the moment, obviously, from Hung Ho's perspective, you haven't paid rent for a period of time.
Yeah. Why is that?
That's a separate process. So, but he has the ability to serve on you, part of the Residential Tenancies Act, a notice that says because you haven't paid rent, he's going to try to get you evicted from the property.
And he'll get the police to come, and the police will move me on. Where will they move me to, please, sir?
That's a separate process. That isn't obviously...
It's outside the area of our expertise. Well, can I explain something to you? If cops are going to come and move me on, why can't I report rape, murder, tax evasion, fraud, conspiracy to manslaughter, and drug trafficking to any police officer? Why is it that they get to serve a law on me when I can't serve the Charter of Human Rights of people with a disability on you and them? The Charter is legislated in 2008 and ratified into the Constitution of this government. And furthermore, it says we are to have equal access to the law, equality before the law, not to be exploited, not to be persecuted, not to be tortured, not to be denied property, and not to be arbitrarily denied life. Now, 15 months ago, I was forced and malpractice treated in an oppression, a government oppression, which is the same as what you're doing now to me, to kill myself in a public hospital. Now, that manslaughter, conspiracy to manslaughter, is a sticking point for the government because they can't admit they killed me and I can't go back to my prior self, can I? Because I've got a brain disorder. I forget things, you know. So, in actual fact, I have got a huge amount of detriment owing to me, and if the government had acknowledged the Charter of Human Rights for the people with a disability, then I would have bloody well got justice and Hung Ho wouldn't even be involved, and I deny that you can give Hung the ability to serve one law on me when many laws have been broken from my side. Do you understand?
Okay. Have you sought some independent advice between legal aid or local?
Can I just repeat myself like a broken record? So my former partner worked for ASIO and he took off with $500,000 that was mine. He is still hiding to this day. Now, another case with a valid complaint was with Dr. Whittaker. Dr. Whittaker had a lawyer to defend his side. I didn't know, but that lawyer has 40 years experience as a top-of-the-range lawyer in Australia. He informs Australian policy and legal government agencies, and he sits on the legal bar. Why do you think it is that I couldn't get a lawyer to respond to him when he has that much power? And additionally, I have another case which would easily see me out of this crisis. That is before the AAT. When I left work, before I was hospitalised, I had a work cover claim. Now, that work cover claim has gone forward to the AAT and it is being rushed ahead, and the government, having already killed me and then covered it up, now has a 25-year experienced lawyer representing the government to kick me in the head when I'm before a hearing. This is inequitable, it's unfair, and it is worth probably $1.5 million for a TPD case. That should have already been heard. They're arguing about a specific area of law I don't understand, and it is a heinous example of the obtuse persecution and victimisation and the inequality of the law that I don't have justice. Now, that lawyer is actually informing government policy. She is well known in Canberra. She has 25 years experience. Why do you think it might be possible that when, I don't mean lower rung like you're lower, because everyone's got a role to play, but someone says to me, why don't you go to Victoria Legal Aid? What do you reckon happens when two very powerful and one former person in ASIO has agency to make you broke so you don't get any justice? Now, this is the problem that underpins what you're telling me. You're saying to me, oh, you should go to legal aid. That's like saying to you, your car's broken, why don't you go to the chiropractor? Do you understand? I'm not getting any traction. I've just told you I can't go to police to report rape, murder, tax fraud, theft, all these things, and I can't be a whistleblower. I'm a banned whistleblower or rejected one, and I can't get a lawyer anywhere for the life of me. Now, what you are doing is you're you're just playing a role, okay? Everyone's got a role to play. Mine, it seems, is the scapegoat and the antagonist. But I'm suffering detriment. And it's millions of dollars in detriment. And in actual fact, it was $1 million at the Australian Human Rights Centre, which I'll set up to fail. It was $1 to $2 million at AFCA. They're supposed to come to a determination within 4 weeks. And mine took nearly 2 years. And I lost my income assist. And I was scapegoated out of my job and rendered illegitimate. And also I lost a sexual abuse case, my own, where I was the victim. And the magistrate told me I was doomed to fail. Why? Because I was framed as an extortionist with the Dr. Whittaker issue. However, at the same time as being framed an extortionist, I was gifted $100,000 and then I gave it back because the person said it was a mistake. I am not money orientated. I am human rights, dignity, and ethics orientated. I've never wanted to cause harm to Hung or his house, and I refuse to. Now, Hung's playing an interesting role because he absolutely knows about this whole conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which I've already proven on the website killhim.info. That is the aim of the game. To kill Richard before he gets justice. And they do that by attacking me systemically via government agencies such as yourself, who are paid by the government to toe the party line in order to exploit me, to discriminate against me, to keep me bereft of prosperity, and to make me homeless. They are going to destroy me. The left side of that is, will spread gossip. The middle side of that is, we'll rob him blind by government agencies. And the right part of that is, we'll kill him. And you know what? That oppression that happened for years already actually killed me in a hospital. Now that, I call it a conspiracy to murder, was actually then condoned by the government, by Ben Calder, the Ombudsman, and they are well aware that this has happened and occurred. It has been 15 months, 15 long months of living in abject poverty with no help, no medication, being absolutely character assassinated and framed. And now I get a random call from someone who, I've got few things in my life. One of them is sentience, everything that's failing. One of them is a computer, which I can't get paid for. One of them is a dog and a bed. And the shell of a home I can't afford. And then I get someone like such as yourself. I'm sure you've got the best intentions, but you are actually an agent paid by the government to toe the party line in order to punish, oppress, and ostracise me. Do you understand my perspective about how you're looking at this thing?
I can understand that from your perspective, Richard, it's a complicated issue.
It's not a complicated issue. What you just need to acknowledge is...
I didn't interrupt you.
Go.
Because in terms of the assistance that the tribunal can provide, in terms of disability and inclusivity support, I'm happy to assist you with completing an application. If you think, or if there's any application you wish to launch to VCAT,
of course I want to launch it. I don't want to be homeless.
Okay, so hear me out. I didn't interrupt you.
Sorry.
Okay. And I can provide procedural advice under things that come under VCAT's jurisdiction. Okay? And I can also make possible referrals to third-party organisations or other support services. That's basically the assistance that I can provide. Okay, now under the housing at the moment, some of the things that you talked about in your previous emails, so there's a hole in the ceiling, or the entrance to the property isn't secure. These are potentially things that you can lodge under urgent repairs or repairs under the Residential Tenancy Act, and I can assist you with making an application under the Residential Tenancy Act.
I want justice. I don't even want to be in this house, but I don't want to be on the street. To be fair, mate, you've got all the personality of dirty dishwater, And really, I'm a human being, mate. I just want a bit of justice and to be heard. You've already heard the incredible detriment that I've been under, and you're going into this this draconian, like, I can assist you under section 4B and C to do this and that. Why don't you hear a human story, mate? Hung actually knows all of this. He knows the whole conspiracy. He knows where I am, and he's framed. He is suffering detriment because I can't pay the rent. I can't pay the rent because I've suffered detriment. I've been scapegoated, and you, kind sir, are elongating that persecution with a draconian and dry and soulless way of dealing with things. You can't say to me that...
Do you wish Richard for any further phone calls or assistance from the tribunal in terms of your housing situation under the Residential Tenancies Act? I'm happy to terminate the call if you're unhappy with the service I'm providing, or if you feel that I'm not the suitable person to provide support from the tribunal's perspective.
Can I just ask, mate, am I one of those complex cases where I send through an email and they go, oh, the red flags come up, someone has to deal with Rich? Are you that person?
No, I can see that you've submitted correspondence with us, okay? The actual email is obviously fairly complicated because it talks about a few things that's not necessarily under the tribunal's jurisdiction.
You know what is under the jurisdiction?
Richard?
Yeah.
We're going into this thing again where I'm talking, okay? Okay, and there are things that the tribunal hasn't got jurisdiction over, so things to deal with your previous interactions with the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, for example.
That's current.
Interactions with, issues with your hospital or things where you've successfully committed suicide, but here still. Okay, I'm not sure of those things. I don't have expertise in that aspect. If there's things that you wish to lodge in terms of VCAT's jurisdiction, I can provide you support. Okay.
What is VCAT's jurisdiction? Just basically.
VCAT's jurisdiction is essentially 16 pieces of state and local legislation.
What is that legislation? Can I see it?
Yeah, if you hop on the VCAT website, it's all there. Okay. When you hop on the VCAT website, it talks about the sorts of cases and disputes that the tribunal can assist with. Residential tenancies, goods and services, guardians and administrators, planning, owners corporations.
Yeah, okay, can I just...
Retail and commercial leases, review and regulation, and there's about 15 others.
Can I just please say, I was really hoping that someone at VCAT might have a heart to say, gee, Rich has suffered terribly in this hugely systemic oppression. We're not going to be a part of it. In actual fact, we're going to hear the evidence why Richard's got no money to pay Hung. And we're actually going to come from underneath. And we're going to argue to the top dogs that Richard deserves a detriment payment because he's literally had a conspiracy to murder. And it's really not cool, mate. And that I haven't meant any detriment to Hung. I've always paid my rent. I'm in an impossible situation, and I just hoped that someone of an appeals tribunal, such as VCAT, might be able to acknowledge the very factual evidence I've already published on my website, killhim.info, and that someone in the government, without being paid to toe the party line, will help me not be framed as a mad person or become a vagrant, but actually get a voice, to have a democratic voice in this country and not have particular laws thrown at me while I get other laws universally ignored. Do you understand my perspective?
Absolutely, but unfortunately VCAT can't act in that way. We can't act as a advocate for your situation jurisdictions, the tribunal is its own jurisdiction to resolve disputes.
Every jurisdiction is a
dispute in that sense is under the Residential Tenancies Act, where we have the situation, obviously, that are occupying a premises, haven't paid rent, and on that basis, HUNHO has served, etc. But as a tribunal, we can't obviously act as an advocate for an individual. That just isn't our particular remit. We're here to resolve disputes only under the legislation that we have jurisdiction over.
Do you know what legislation exists in the country? Is that every government official must act within the Charter of Human Rights of People with a Disability. That is the law. And I can send that law to you if you want. And every PSA, including you, as a government official, has to act within the remit of that Charter of Human Rights of People with a Disability. Now, that charter says we must have a home. We must have access to the law. We must have equality before the law. We aren't to be exploited or persecuted, not tortured, not to be denied our property or our prosperity, and not to be arbitrarily denied life. And what's the last one? I can't remember. But those are all things that every public service officer and administrator in the government actually has an obligation and a legal obligation to not act outside of those limitations. I think the fact that we have a possible it's a locking of horns, isn't it? I mean, here I am. You've obviously heard my story. Now, it's very easy to exploit me as a gay person who's used drugs, who's got a mental illness, whatever. And it is very easy for powers that be to oppress me and exploit me in ways which are easy for the next person under the auspice of, say, the Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet to toe the party line. Now, I'm a human being. Do you want to just hear a little story about me, about what I've done with my life? Because I've been a 25-year public advocate, and I've helped people with marginalised in life and people with mental illnesses for 25 years. I've actually spoken in Parliament. I've spoken in Montreal, to Dubbo, to Warrnambool. I was an illustrator for The Age and the Herald Sun. I've written a human rights awarded book. I've got a human rights award. Not that matters these days. And now I've been systemically oppressed by all government agencies as a scapegoat and a denied whistleblower. This all has to surely come into play when we consider the Charter of Human Rights of People with a Disability as to why this smaller kind of fraction of the equation and the problem with me and Hung Ho, the landlord, is existing when in fact it is much broader than that. Now, if I provided VCAT with the evidence that I asked the Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet for my freedom of information, and he says I don't exist, how do you think that might affect the process if I provided that as evidence of a conspiracy to avert the course of justice, and as locked horns as it is, that you are actually under that auspice and are required to toe the party line and offer me persecution as a political prisoner?
I can provide assistance with your housing application.
But you must do it within the remit of the human rights of people with a disability. That's the law. That's one law. See, you're saying one law, and I'm saying another law. So we both have a law, don't we? And I'm a nice person, and I'm sure you're a nice person. But I mean, I haven't been given much of a chance. You know, actually, the end goal is to kill me. Like, it's okay to say it's outside the remit of what we do here, and you know, I'd hate to use the term because I'm gay, but the faggot, like one stick, you're just one stick of a huge faggot that's kicking me over the head. Like a faggot is a bundle of sticks, you know. Sorry, mate. A faggot is a bundle of sticks.
I know.
I'm sorry if you're gay too. I really apologise, but You know,
I'm completely well aware. I think my children actually use that properly in conversation. But you're absolutely right.
Well, you are just one stick in the faggot that's hit me over the top of the head. Now, I keep getting knocked over the head, and even the Prime Minister's knocked me on the head. I mean, I don't know how much more I can take, mate. You know, that if they're trying to kill me, they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, like, I'm actually a nice guy. Hung knows I'm a nice guy. What?
Are you at threat of self-harm?
See, that's how they frame it. That's how they frame it.
This is part of the process, you see, because this is part of the conversation thread. So,
Are you at threat of self-harm, mate?
I'm not,
Are
no.
you at threat of being sued for not acting within the Charter of Human Rights with people with disability? And if I was going to sue you, who would I go to? The police? Do you feel a little bit
Not that I'm aware.
Do you feel a little bit comfortable that you can get away with what you're doing to me?
If you feel that I'm interacting negatively with you at all, impacting negatively, I'm very...
Oh no, I'm having a laugh, mate. Because you know what? You can't take my sentience. Like, I've already lost everything. I've got no money, no food, no medication. I've got cancer. I'm mad. I can't remember things. Like, what else? And now you're going there. Well, I know we're a bit too blah blah blah. What's your story, mate?
I'm happy to assist from a VCAT perspective. I'm happy to assist with your housing and the application that is to owe.
So dry. Why aren't people? Where's people's humour left these days?
Yes, I can understand that. In terms of the food, I can make a referral to...
I don't want a referral to the Salvation Army. In actual fact, I've been banned from the NDIS and Minister Reynolds, and I've been banned from the local Brotherhood of St. Lawrence. I actually want justice, not welfare. If I had justice, I'd be able to buy this fucking house.
Just out of interest, why is the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence stopped interacting with you?
Just out of interest. Why do you fucking think there's a conspiracy to prevent the cause of justice? NDAA, or Minister Reynolds, has fucking come down on top of my local area coordinator, the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence in Footscray, and they've gone, nah, you don't talk to him. You send us to the big guys, because you know what we're going to do to him? This is what we're going to do. We're going to oppress him so much and push him into a corner so bad that we're going to make him go mad, and then we're going to frame him with delusions of persecution, which of course are fucking real, and then we're going to lock him up and incarcerate him, or if he steps out of line, we've already set him up to be framed with a crime and jailed. That's what we're going to do to this cunt, because he knows too much. He's too clever. He's outsmarted us. He's fucked us up. He is the Jesus. He's the reincarnation here to forgive you all of your sins. He's the laughing Buddha at the end of the times, at the end of the Anthropocene. And you know what? I'm just here chilling out, and, you know, you can't take my sentience, mate. So, yeah, I'd like your help, please. And I hope that explains why I can't go to the Brotherhood of St. Lawrence.
Well, I can understand that you appreciate assistance, and that's great. I'm here to help in...
Sounds like you're there to help.
in a certain way, okay?
In a certain way.
Jurisdiction, I can't solve all the other issues.
Oh, really?
I don't have any understanding in terms of some of the complexities.
Do you know what? I'm a bit of a legend. I'm a bit of a legend. Do you know that? Because I'm a bit punk. I'm a bit punk. Pardon?
I'll take it on notice.
So, can I have your surname, please, Cameron?
No.
No.
As part of the protocols, we only provide our first names.
Ah, well, isn't that a bit soulless? Soulless. You know about my finance. You know when I had a shit last. I fucked a dude last night. You know. Well, you know it now. And Cameron, the innocuous, inert, acting within the remit process at VCAT, who's already been overseen by the broader picture that Richard Mclean is extraordinarily aware about, and he knows that Cameron is another stick in the faggot that's kicking him across the head. Is that right?
I can't go to any of that. I'm happy to...
Don't crack a smile, mate. Come on, we're professionals here.
I'm happy to stop the camera. Alright, so in terms of your potential application for holding the ceiling or the secure entrance or...
Oh, it's not just that. It's the black mold and it's the rats. And it's the family of feral foxes that live underneath the house. And it's the feral cats that live in the garage. And it's the leaking roof in the bedroom, which has wet all of my clothes and turned them all to mold. And it's the broken shower. It's the broken dishwasher. It was advertised with the dishwasher. It doesn't have one anymore. It's about the black mold in the laundry, and it's about that I've lost 3 washing machines. 3! Because the laundry ceiling leaks, and it keeps blowing up my electronic equipment. It's about my computer being hacked, about me being under surveillance. It's about
the urgent repairs, the computer being hacked, that's a Victoria Police issue.
I can't go to police, I just told you.
Yeah, well, I can't provide assistance with your computer being hacked.
Are you a mean person?
No, I'm just a helpful public servant, that's all I am.
Is the state good as a public servant? Is the state good? Because I haven't eaten today. I'm just dreaming about, other realities. Like, I could have been you and you could have been me. You know that band You Am I? They're pretty good.
Are you happy to set up a time tomorrow or Friday that I can...
Oh, mate, I'd be delighted to talk to you again. What time do you want?
How about Friday?
Friday. Will we do a little bit of a drinking afterwards? Friday drinks?
It's up to you. So let's have a little bit of time.
Okay, Friday. Oh, I've got the freedom of information coming from the police on Footscray from Friday. That'll be good. That'll be nothing. What time?
We have a chat on... Hold on. How about we have a chat then on...
What time, Cameron?
Sorry, hold on.
Is it illegal for Hun to kick me out if he knows that this is not my fault?
He just has to really prove that you haven't paid your rent on time.
But that's not my fault.
Yes, but it's at the same time, if you're in a tenancy, your obligation is to ensure that the rent is paid.
But your obligation as a public service official is to act within the remit of human rights of people with a disability, and you haven't done that, and you've failed to say that that I can't go to police or be a whistleblower or get a lawyer. So in actual fact, you are a stick in the faggot that's hitting me over the top of the head.
I'm not stopping you from going to the police.
But I can't. I've told you. It's like I'm trying to talk to you. You won't listen.
I'm not stopping you to do that, though.
That's it. Why don't we just end it now? Why don't we just put a bullet in me?
If that's your position, that's your serious intent.
My position is actually saviour of the human race because everyone's forsaken me, and I think I might be the new Jesus in the end time. So carry on. We'll speak Friday, and yeah. Lovely to talk.
The alternative is we can set up a time tomorrow at 3 o'clock and I can help you fill in the application form.
Oh, great. That was the most epic and fun. You know what? I reckon I've got a good sense of humour. And I reckon that public servants don't. And I don't think they follow the human rights of Charter with people with disability. And I think where they are at, the steak must be pretty good or... Scott Morrison's cock must be fucking awesome. Because sorry to go a bit south there, but clearly you're hearing a human rights crisis here. Who was a human rights awarded advocate and all that kind of stuff, and helped people for 25 years, and you're towing the party line to destroy someone. So who's ever got their hand in your back pocket giving you money or something, the steak must be good. But anyway, enjoy the steak, and I'll speak to you 3 o'clock Friday.
3 o'clock tomorrow.
Pardon me?
3 o'clock on the 12th, which is a Thursday.
Oh.
Thursday's tomorrow.
Oh, okay. And can you give me a time frame for when I'll be kicked out on the streets?
We can have a discussion about that tomorrow at 3 o'clock.
Wouldn't you think that would be nice to know now?
I've explained to you, haven't I, that Hung needs to watch an application.
Okay, I'll speak to them tomorrow. Speak tomorrow. Okay, bless you. You're forgiven. Bye.
Thanks.
VCAT had kicking me out onto the street. I tried to explain. Ye of little faith.